What's going on, everybody? It's your boys over 09JAN25 DFS here to bring you guys that NBA slate breakdown for the 7-game NBA slate we got over here on DraftKings. As you can see, it's a good day over here at the 09JAN25 fam. We cashed once again with the main line that we had over here for DraftKings. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content over here on the channel. Drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win that money. As you can see, we're doing pretty good. This week I introduced my NBA cheat sheet, which is just pretty much my player pool that I personally am going ahead and building out, giving that to you guys over here on the Patreon. If you guys are looking for it or you want to join up for the Patreon, check the link down in the description below so you guys can go ahead and sign up. It's only $5 and you're getting a lot of value for what we give for $5. NBA player pool core, give it. I put out the notes and everything in here for you guys. So one of the big notes yesterday was if the Joker missed, you're going to want to play DeAndre Jordan, add him to the player pool, immense value right there. And if you played him, you definitely was, one, he was low owned. Two, you did pretty good. Dropped 30 fantasy points at 3K. I'm also giving out the notes and everything right here. Maybe I could do an up to lock show or something like that, but honestly, half the time with I'm cooking dinner or something like that, and then from 6:30 to 7, that's my, hey, let me get all my news, figure out exactly what's what, drop the score. So not too sure if I would actually be able to do an up lock and stuff like that, but trying to roll out more content over here for you guys. So definitely give me some suggestions down in the comment section of anything else that you guys want to see, or some stuff that you want to see me change. One of the things, I'm trying not to talk so much in the beginning of these videos and get into the actual breakdown so you guys can go ahead and get the meat and potatoes of what we need to know for the slate. But again, quick recap. Core did really great. Tyrese Maxey, took a minute for him to get going, but thank God he got going. Was really hoping the game went to OT because Maxey was low owned. Yabusele, of course, highly owned. Keontae George didn't play pretty much the majority of the fourth quarter. Could have got me a couple more fantasy points, but luckily did not give me a 0. Got up to 15 fantasy points. Definitely saved the day right there. And then, as you can see, I put out a night core. This one didn't do too hot at all, depending on your feelings. That Clipper game definitely completely screwed me. Was very heavy on playing the Clippers and going up against Denver just because, figured it would have been a very good game. But for whatever reason, Clippers decided to get blown out without no Joker over there. So that completely shit my night. Alt lines didn't do too bad over here. As you guys can see, besides blowouts, we did pretty good. 7 out of the 11 props that I put up, besides the DMPs for Joker, Vooch and Giddy, both of them, no fourth quarter run. The game got blown out. They got completely destroyed by the Pacers. Just piss posh, didn't play the normal minutes, so that just sucks. Zubac, same thing, in a blowout on the back end of a back-to-back versus the Nuggets with no Joker. He, 2 of 4, 6 of 7 from the free throw line and everything. It was there for him to hit, just didn't get the fourth quarter run at all. Was pulled with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, so can't do nothing about that. Finished with 21 PRA. He was right there to hit. Played the fourth, he was going to hit that, no issues, no problem. Wemby just got overpowered by the Bucks, was not his night. Didn't look bad, but could definitely been better. And then everything else, as you can see, boom, 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 cash, 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 cash. The core, not bad at all. I knew I wanted to play some Brooklyn Nets, and the reason why I say the Keontae George, I could have played, I think Wilson was his name, or someone else here from the Nets, and would have had an even better night if I would have played him instead of Keontae George. But I did want to get a run back from the Washington Wizards just because I had so many Phillies in this lineup. And then honestly too, if James Harden actually had a decent regular night, I take down first place in my contest straight up. So definitely, hey, you live, you learn. Not a bad night at all. Going on over into the injury report for today, real quick. Toronto Raptors, no news for them. Ochai Agbaji should play, might play, not too sure. Injured his back last night, was held out, so he might be back. Cavs, backing up a back-to-back, played against my Thunder. Yes, they beat us, finally snapped the win streak. Honestly, if that's going to be the game we get for the NBA Finals, I love it. It was great. And you'll have a full, healthy Thunder team, which is what you did not have tonight. I'm not making an excuse for the Thunder or anything of the sort. Dubs to the Cavs. I actually am glad that they won. It gives us a measuring stick of what we need to go back and work on. Some stuff that we need to look at and what we need to do. So the game was close though. Very good game. Decent from Dub, seeing him actually perform. And looks like he plays much better on the road than he has been playing at home, which is one big thing that I have noticed lately with him. Shea is still Shea. Dropped 30 still. Looked good out there. Foul trouble. Ticky-tacky. You could try to say that might have changed the game for him. But hey, if you guys also listened to the stream yesterday that I put out a same game parlay, pretty much. I called it out when I was going over the DraftKings lineups and stuff like that. That cashed. So if you guys did play that, good to you. Let me know if you guys did down in the comment section. But Cavs back in the back-to-back, don't really see anything over there for them. Golden State Warriors, they are on the front end of a back-to-back for them. might hold out some of these players. Curry with that ankle, Dennis, Draymond Green, all these guys right here. Got to know if they're going to play. Luckily, it's the first game of the night, so we will know. Amen Thompson still dealing with being sick. Might be back, might not. Minnesota, big thing for them. Dante DiVincenzo is now starting over Mike Conley, but no news over the report for them. Orlando, they are on the front end of a back-to-back. Paolo, game time decision. Would not be surprised if they hold him out today and let him play tomorrow, but pay attention to that right there, because either way, he'll be on a minutes limit, and that's going to shake up in regards to the usage and everything that they have going on over here with these guys. Houston, taking on Memphis. Big thing for them is that over here on the Memphis side, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Ja, all three of these guys, their main contributors over here, game time decisions. Got to know if they're going to play or not. Ja, I would be surprised if he plays with that shoulder, because it seems like it's actually like a really serious injury, but keep an eye out there for that. Portland taking on Dallas. Clinging, he should be back today. He was rested yesterday, so he should be back. Good to go. Denny Avdia, same thing. He had a game time decision yesterday. He played. Would be surprised if Denny was to be held out here today. Dallas, Daniel Gafford has him as game time decision. He is doubtful to play. The ankle sprain is severe. I would be surprised if somehow he gets bumped up to probable. Still without Luka and Kyrie over there for them. For the Atlanta Hawks taking on Phoenix, Jalen Johnson, he's already been ruled out, so we don't got to worry about that. Trae Young, he's going to play. For Phoenix, big thing, Ryan Dunn, Mason Plumlee starting over Bradley Beal. And Big Nurk over here for them. Beal still on the trade block, looking to get out of there from the Phoenix Suns. Some rumors floating around about him maybe waiving his no trade clause to go to LA. Keep an eye out for that, because if something happens, some moving parts, either one of these teams, they could be, shorthanded, kind of like what we had with the Brooklyn Nets last night. Miami, really nothing to worry about for them. Same old, same old. They just played this Utah team like 5 days ago and got completely destroyed by Utah. Utah beat the brakes off of them. Utah, John Collins has already been ruled out. Jordan Clarkson, Keontae George are out. So tight rotation at the guard spot again for Utah. Sebastian, however the heck you say this dude's name, game time decision. Hopefully he plays, because he takes a ton of shots and is pretty good on the offensive side if he does play. I don't mind him as a decent value play, long as he's actually in today. Charlotte Hornets taking on LA. No news for Charlotte and LA. This is a showdown slate. If you guys want something for the showdown slate, let me know down in the comment section. I'll see what I can do in regards to that, and I'll definitely throw it up there on the Patreon if you guys do actually want that. All right, heading on over to DraftKings, the site I play the most on site. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. Like I said earlier, this is going to be the back end of back-to-back for Cavs after playing a pretty good, tough Thunder game last night. No news in regards to anybody resting, so everything should be good to go. All cylinders firing over here for the Cavs. Starting out with Toronto side, last night it was a revenge of Quickly. Played pretty well out there going up against his former team. Finally had his big game. RJ Barrett, he's had his already. Finally, Quickly was able to get his in 31 minutes. Dropped 37.75 fantasy points. Not a bad spot for him again right here. I will say, just like how Hartenstein was my favorite Thunder play over there for the Thunder last night, just because I know that Jared Allen, good center, this, that, and third, but still, centers kind of can cook. And I don't mind going to Poto, who hasn't had one of those big games yet. Well, not yet. It hasn't had a big game recently in any of his games. But in his 2 games going up against the Cavs this season, he's practically put up almost a fantasy point per minute. Last time he played them, he dropped 45 fantasy points in that game versus them. He had 12 points, 19 rebounds, a couple of assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. So the upside definitely could be there for Jakob Poeltl here in this spot. Only played 30 minutes yesterday. Don't mind going right back to him right here. Definitely could be a spot where I could see going to him. At 6,400, good price tag. Don't mind going there at all whatsoever. Outside of that, you can, of course, as always, look toward your normal contributors over here from them. RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, if you want to pay for that right there. Not really looking at those guys for myself. Over here on the Cleveland side, though, as always, it's going to be the same thing. You can stand up and walk. As always, over here on the Cleveland side of things, it's going to be the same thing like what it always is for me. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. Surprisingly, a sprinkle of Darius Garland is what I could say. He's been playing much better. Looking at the Kenny Atkins system that they have over there, playing fast, getting out there on the breaks, letting him actually be the point guard, which I got to see firsthand, of course, playing going against the Thunder. The 1-2 punch between having Garland out there without Donovan Mitchell. Then, hey, Donovan Mitchell, it's your time to cook without Garland. The rotation that they're actually doing over there, it looks like it should be beneficial. Still surprised that he only had 2 assists in this game going up against Charlotte. Doesn't make any sense to me, but when you drop 25 points, I guess that somewhat makes sense. Don't mind Garland, but to me, more of a GPP option if I had to say right there. 7,300, of course, that's not a bad price tag. Of course, going up against Toronto, good spot. Again, Evan Mobley. You guys know I love playing Evan Mobley. Do it all. Ooh, excuse me. We got to see that last night going up against Cleveland, 21 going up against the Thunder, 21 points, 7 assists, 10 rebounds. We know he can stuff the stat sheet and do it all. I don't mind going right back to him here in this spot. And then the unsung hero for the Cavs last night, Jared Allen. Whenever I want to play this dude, I'm going to be very honest. He typically does not have a good day for me. I'm going to try to throw that out the window and just say, you know what? Jared Allen, he's going to go out here and he's going to play and he's going to have a really great game here. Karl-Anthony Towns last night went out there and dropped 58 fantasy points. I'm not going to say he's going to go out here and drop 50 plus fantasy points again, but a decent spot for him to go ahead and do it. Going up against a smaller Jakob, he should be able to go ahead and do that right there for me. So 6,400 for Jared Allen. Don't mind going to that at all. And then, like I said, Donovan Mitchell, GPP option for a fact. Not a great game last night. Coming off of some really rough stretches, 25, 29, 28 fantasy points. We know Donovan has 50 plus fantasy point upside out there for him. So definitely be something that you could definitely mess with if you want to go there. Golden State Warriors taking on Detroit. Big thing over here is that we have to have that injury news for the Golden State Warriors because if they're going to be out, if Curry's going to be out, and depending on if Dennis is going to be in or not. Dennis, we already know he gets kind of bumped up, but they're going to have to play Buddy Hield's going to have to be back into the starting lineup. Lindy Waters, he'll get a ton of minutes and things like that. They're missing Kuminga off the bench. So one player that was getting a bump and everything for that is Kyle Anderson, who's actually starting to see minutes again. And we know what Slow-Mo can do. Slow-Mo is very slow, but he's a decent fantasy point producer whenever he does play. And this could be one of those matches where Slow-Mo could actually have some decent upside. But we got to get the news if Curry's going to be in or not, if Schroeder is going to be in or not. If we're going to pretend like the players are going to be in. If they're in, I like Steph Curry here in this position and spot. 8,700 hasn't really shown us the Steph Curry numbers consistently this season, but we can see looking at the game log, he has it in his back still. 47, 59, 40 fantasy points going up against a Detroit team that does play decently fast. We know that he can go ahead and get those shots up and things like that. Focal point, if they want to win, it is going to be on the back of Steph Curry dropping at least about 25, 30 points. Steph Curry, babyface assassin, 8,700. Don't mind that at all. Dennis Schroeder, if Curry is out, then he's going to have to get a bump in everything. Don't mind looking at him, even if Curry is in. Same thing for Draymond Green. All three of these guys are main focal points, and they are the team pretty much. No Kuminga to bring his 25 points off the bench anymore. Right now, Potaminski's out. Buddy Hield is so spotty. Yeah. Like I said, Kyle Anderson, good value play. Don't mind looking there at all. If I have to decide and choose, it's definitely a spot. Over on the other side, Kate Cunningham, 10-2. 10-2. And for good reason, the dude plays lights out. He's been giving us some really great fantasy point production and numbers. Don't mind going right back to him. Yes, 26.75 fantasy points in 23 minutes. It was a blowout. Didn't need to play him. Didn't have to do much yesterday at all whatsoever. So I'll go right back to Cade in a game that should hopefully be a little bit closer. Don't mind going over there to him. And then I know everyone loves Tracy Jackson Davis, but he's a little bit undersized going up against Jalen Duren. Duren might be able to go out here and muscle his way, have a really good game. I could see this being the spot, definitely for some good rebounds, some block shots, and just getting the lobs and things like that to the basket. Like Jalen Duren here in this spot, don't mind looking at him as a possible potential play. On the flip side of that, we do know that Duren can get himself into foul trouble. So if you do think that Tracy Jackson Davis, who's been spotty up and down in regards to what he can give us, but he does have a ceiling of 40 plus fantasy points, definitely be someone that can go sneakily low owned, sitting in that 5K, that value range that I like to call it, over there for me. So I don't mind looking his direction as a possible and potential play that you can go to. Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Orlando Magic. Really over here for me, Anthony Edwards, 8-8. The dude's been on fire over his last several games. If you could fit him, if you want to get to him, I don't mind that. Orlando's defense is good, but they're not the same team that they once were, of course, because they're constantly dealing with injuries. So I don't mind looking at Anthony Edwards' way right here, especially just because he's taking a ton of shots, 20 shots in his last 3 straight games. After he made that interview, after he made the comments about getting doubled, not liking it, not having fun. He's been having fun. 53, 37, 32 points. The playmaking, moving Dante into the starting lineup. I definitely think that helps because now the ball is more in his hands as well. Same thing for Julius Randle. Both those guys. The upside is definitely there for him. Don't mind them. More GPP-centric players for me. I will surprisingly say this, and I say surprisingly, Rudy Gobert going up against Goga. This should be a spot that Rudy should be able to have a decent game. Whether Rudy goes out here and does it, I don't know if I could trust him 2 times in a row, because I played him the other day when he played against the Pelicans. It was like just no brainer. You got to play him against the Pelicans. All centers normally crush and smash going up against the Pelicans. you could definitely go here to Rudy. It's up to you. But Rudy, player right now currently in my player pool that I'm looking at, don't mind going to him. Then of course Dante DiVincenzo, as long as he's getting a start, dude, he's playing out there 30 minutes. He was already kind of playing that off the bench, but now you have him in the starting lineup and he's out there getting to cook, do what he wants to do with the starters. I like that. I'll go ahead and I'll take that all day. If you're going to tell me that his floor right now is sitting roughly about 25 fantasy points at 5K, and I know the ceiling can go up into the 30s, I'll take that right there for a 5K play over there. But on the other side for Orlando, another 5K play that we need to be looking at, Cole Anthony. This dude can cook. Cole Anthony is not a slouch. He's not a scrub or anything like that. Just because he comes off the bench doesn't mean that he's bad or anything. It's just that Jalen Suggs, for whatever reason, was getting the start, all those other things. At the end of the day, Cole Anthony is a hooper, he's a baller, and he is making sure you guys remember and know that. Going up against Minnesota, he's actually played them very well throughout his career. He has been in the league since 2020, 2021. He's played Minnesota very well in every game that he's actually played going up against them. Now you got the boy out there being a starter, playing 30+ minutes a night. Don't mind going to Cole Anthony as a decent value play, 5,800. Timber Pups, their defense has been a little wonky. I know they were a very good defense last season, but it's not showing that this season so far, especially over the last several games that they're trying to find themselves. So Cole Anthony, 5,800, love the upside, especially if Paolo does miss. Either way, even if Paolo is there, you're still without Franz, you're still without Jalen Suggs, you're still tight at that guard rotation in regards to what you're actually getting out here from all these guys, so I don't mind going there. If Paolo does miss, I do think there is some upside in Tristan da Silva. We know shoot. As long as he's knocking down his shots, he gives you a good fantasy point production at night. We know he can rebound and do all those other things, so I don't mind looking there. And then on the flip side of that, I know I just talked about Rudy being a decent spot, but Goga himself, he's solidified himself as a very good player. And again, don't mind looking to go to him as well. We know that opposing centers that actually have size, that can stretch the floor and do other things besides play back to the basket, unlike Messi, who unfortunately had to deal with Rudy blocking all his shots and everything. Goga can do the same thing, and he likes to go for the blocks as well. So I definitely see some trash talking, some things going back and forth with these guys here in this matchup. So don't mind taking Goga, who, whenever he has played the Minnesota Timber Pups in the last 2 seasons, has given us a fantasy point per minute out there. And to put it into perspective, he was typically playing about 15 to 17 minutes versus them, and legitimately put up a fantasy point per minute. Look at this business now and think about what you can get from Goga at that price tag right there. So going on over to Houston, taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to say this. This is Amen, right? Not a sir. Yeah, Amen Thompson, brother's good. If you want to take his rebounds right now, to me, he's safe at least about like 8 to 10 rebounds. He's going to get that. Şengün is boxing out. He's coming in and he's skying, getting these boards. He's the athleticism that this kid plays with. I understood how athletic they were watching them when they were playing before they came into the league, but God dang, to see it going up against the actual pros, it's crazy. Men Thompson, 7,100. I think that's still too cheap. Kid shows that he has very, very, very good upside. And then if we're dealing with like the B squad of the Memphis Grizzlies, either way, this should be a fast-paced game. Love the upside that we should be able to get for him. I know he's going to hit that 8K range sooner or later. That's how good he is and how good he's playing. Love the upside for him here today. Don't mind going to him. Outside of that, honestly, this is a high total game. All these guys over here for the Houston Rockets in the starting lineup: Freddie V, Jalen Green, Şengün. All of them look good. I mean, even you can look at Dylan Brooks, who is technically in a revenge matchup, hasn't played the greatest, especially with a men being in the starting lineup full time. That's something right there. I know that Cam Whitmore apparently left the game. The last game was shoving people, was a little irritated and pissed off. I'm not too sure if it's the minutes that he's playing or whatnot, or if someone has said something to him or what's going on with that. But keep a lookout for that. Cam Whitmore might be on the trade block, might be looking to bump up his trade stock, you know, get a couple extra shots up, something. But again, Cam Whitmore, been a fan of his game. The dude's good. He's very good. And honestly, being buried on the bench over there, it really does suck to be where he's at right there. But again, Freddie V, Şengün, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, all these guys are in contention to play. Dylan Brooks is the wild card GPP option, just simply because he's been very inconsistent, but he is playing up against his former team. He has played them a couple times and he has put up some really great numbers versus them. So you definitely could take that. On the flip side of thing, if Ja's still out, if Bane's still out, Jaren Jackson Jr., 9,600, rightfully so, good price. Tough-ish ish matchup going up against Houston, who is actually a really good defensive team, but he has shown when he's the focal point, he can play like the focal point. I know he can get himself into foul trouble. He definitely can get himself into foul trouble big time. But again, it's Jaren Jackson Jr. He knows what he's doing. Goes out there, block upside, playmaking upside now with Bane and Ja out. The rebounds are all there for him. The scoring, wouldn't mind going to him. They're going to have to use him if they want to keep this game close. Definitely will be there. If Ja's actually back, no minutes limit, or depending on if he's going to play at least close to 30 minutes, wouldn't mind looking at Ja as a deep GPP option. If Ja is out, then of course you're going to want to be looking towards Scottie Pippen Jr., who is going to have to help carry the load over there for them, along with Jaren Jackson Jr. Portland backing up back-to-back, taking on Dallas. Really, for me, it's only going to be two players. Ayton. Ayton scared me a little bit yesterday. I was like, every center versus the Pelicans, they've had great games. DeAndre Ayton, you're not going to go out here and do this. Really? Are you, bud? But he going out there, he got the double-double, 34.75 fantasy points. Luckily, he was able to go ahead and get there. So I guess all is fair and good with DeAndre Ayton. So he doesn't get put onto a ban list today. But I will say I am looking towards more Anthony Simons, who's been playing very well over his last several games. Looking to score, rebounding, also playmaking with those assists. I wouldn't mind going right back to him. And then Denny Avdia, the dude is good. I see why the Thunder wanted him originally. Wish we could have actually traded for him. Wouldn't mind him at that power forward spot, but I'm glad with Alex Caruso and with Isaiah Hartenstein, so we'll take that. But the dude stuffs the stat sheet. He's scoring very, very well. The three-point shot is falling. It's looking very good. The rebounds, we know he can rebound at a pretty high clip. Don't mind looking towards Denny Avdia at 7-1. That would be another player I would look to over here for them. And then I would take a sprinkle of Klingon just because he is so cheap and the dude puts up a fantasy point per minute. Yes, he's going to be stuck around 15-ish minutes, so beware of that. You're not going to get no crazy big night from him, but decent player. I would just peel my eyes towards. Just pay attention. Just look towards. If you wanted to look there. Going on over to the Dallas Mavericks, Spencer Dinwiddie, 6,500. No Kyrie, no Luka. You know he's gonna have to play at least 30+ minutes. It is the Portland Trailblazers, so we do attack them with opposing guards. You definitely can go there. Klay Thompson, 6K. Again, both of these guys, they are gonna have to shoulder the load for them. Klay is very much up and down for whatever you can get. Really, again, looking at the two prices, I would rather find the 5K to get up to Spencer Dinwiddie, just because he's been hit or miss, but he's been more reliable than what I could say Klay would be in the situation. And then of course PJ Washington, 6,900. If you want to go there, you definitely can. I do know that he's going to rebound. He's going to try to go ahead and take those shots. He's going to do what he got to do to try to keep his team inside the game. So the upside is definitely there, but PJ more of a GPP option for me. Not really looking his direction. If Gafford was to miss, I expected Lively to get the minutes last time. He only played 19 minutes. GPP option again, but again, if Gafford misses, Lively has to play some type of minutes, at least close. He can get up there to 30 minutes. This should be one of those matches where you should need him going up against big bodies like Kling, like Ayton out there. I don't see where they would be able to get away with like what they were last time with Lively when they played going up against the Lakers and playing Maxi Kleber, which got a shit ton of run, which just drove me crazy. Didn't make any sense. Like, they just kept pulling Lively, but then again, he was also getting himself into foul trouble. Miami taking on Utah, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Jaime Jaquez, Terry Rozier, all those guys in contention and play. They are the uses. They are everything over here for Miami. I will say this team, they literally just played them like 5 days ago. It's Going against Utah, 29 minutes, Tyler dropped 30 fantasy points. Bam Adebayo, he literally just was putrid. And Miami also did get blown out in this game. It was 100-136. Should be out for revenge. Bam, couldn't hit a shot. Nothing. 19.5 fantasy points in 26 minutes. He's bounced back with 47 and 43 fantasy points in his last 2 games. Hopefully he can keep that hot streak going for him here in the spot. Would not mind going to a decent stud in Bam Adebayo. This should be a spot where he could redeem himself. Jaime Jaquez, you guys know my love for Jaime. Jaime, great player. Definitely, again, he can stuff the stat sheet with his rebounding, with his assists, things like that. And also if he brings it on the defensive side, and if that 3 ball is falling, it's falling for him. Love the upside for Jaime for 300. I'll go ahead and take him. Terry Rozier, it's the Utah Jazz. You play the starting lineup versus the Utah Jazz. That's just how it goes when it comes down to it. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Look for it. I will put it into the player pool. Who's going to be my favorite one from the Miami Heat? But all those guys, like I said, Terry, Jaime, Bam, Highsmith, Tyler Hero, everybody in that starting lineup is in play, in contention for me when it comes down to it. Over on the flip side for the Utah Jazz, depending on the news and how this shakes out, of course, Colin Sexton, he's going to be in contention and play 6,700. He's going to have to play out there 30-ish minutes. Going up against Miami the first time, dropped 37.25 fantasy points. Again, no Clarkson, no Keontae George. He's getting a lot of that minutes and burn at the guard rotation. Collier, he's going to go ahead and fill in and get that other burn and run as the point guard over there for him. 24 minutes versus Miami, 24 fantasy points. You definitely can go there. That's a good value play that you can take. If Sinbad is playing, I do love the upside for what he could bring in this game versus Miami. Dude played 26 minutes, dropped 51.75 fantasy points. Not saying he could repeat that, but I'm just saying when he plays and he's getting the minutes, he takes a ton of shots. He's a good three-point shooter. Love the upside for what we can get from him. Really good 1-2 punch between him and Lauri Markkanen with Colin Sexton bringing up the rear, finding these guys right there. Would not mind going to either one of those guys. Outside of that, Walker Kessler. No John Collins. The dude's playing consistent minutes, getting up there to the 30-ish minutes versus Miami, dropped 35 fantasy points in 26 minutes. If this game actually stays close, keeps himself out of foul trouble, gobbles up the rebounds, goes ahead and gets his putbacks, his dunks and things like that, gives us some defensive stats. 6,600 for Walker Kessler is not bad at all. Love the upside for what he can actually produce and bring and give us here in the spot. Last game of the night, Atlanta taking on the Phoenix Suns. This game, Trae Young, no John Collins. We know he's going to literally play, make dish to rock, and then when he is forced to do nothing else but score, he's going to score. Hit the buzzer beater winner last game out there going up against, who was it that they played? Versus Utah. 24 points, 20 assists. No John Collins. I would ladder Trae's assist again if you wanted to go ahead and take that. Going up against the Phoenix Suns. If this game is expected to be fast-paced and everything for what Trae can go out here and do, I wouldn't mind going ahead and laddering that again. And we've seen opposing point guards have really great games going up against Phoenix. LaMelo Ball, he dropped 66 fantasy points. Tyrese Maxey dropped 52. Halliburton dropped 53. Go look at the assists of what those guys were able to put up and their numbers, everything, three-point shots, all that stuff. Because all those players are pretty much the exact same archetype as Trae Young. So I would expect a big game from Trae here in the spot. Good spot for him. So we have to do the exact same thing here. If you want to, I'm surprised I'm going to say this, but Clint Capella, 5,100, looked good in that last game without Jalen Johnson being out there. 31 fantasy points. Not gonna say he's gonna do it again, but you are gonna need somebody with some size out there versus Plumlee, the scrap minutes that Nurk gets, and depending on whoever else they roll out there. 5,100. I don't mind that as a run back, and then sprinkle a little bit of Ricochet, however you say his name, 4,300. Don't mind going down there to the kid right there. For the Phoenix Suns over here, you guys already know Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, no justification needed for these guys. Bradley Beal's playing off the bench, but he's still playing at least 30 minutes. You definitely can go to there for them. Definitely worthy playing of some studs right there. 6,700 for Bradley Beal, kind of a new role playing off the bench, and he looked good in the first game going up against Philly. Second game, not too much going up against Charlotte, but still 6,700. Don't mind, especially if you're trying to bump up his trade value. Tyus Jones hasn't played too hot in his last two games. Definitely a spot where I could see a bounce back maybe, especially because Dyson Daniels should be on Devin Booker. So that might open up Tyus to actually come and have a decent day. But it looks like Tyus's minutes have been chopped due to Beal actually coming back out there and playing with the starters, and Ryan Dunn is still out there playing as well. So take it with a grain of salt, but Tyus definitely a GPP play that you can look to on today. And then if they're actually going to give Mason Plumlee his minutes today, he played 20 minutes in that second game versus Charlotte. I don't mind looking towards Mason Plumlee. We know he can definitely rebound with the best of them out there. That's really all he's going to be able to do. Definitely can get some putbacks and things like that. But 4,500, don't mind that as a cheap value play that you can get on the slate. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Almost 30 minutes for this video. Hopefully you guys stayed for the whole thing and you guys enjoyed it. Definitely trying to find a way to cut down these videos, but I mean, going through really giving you guys some meat and potatoes and things like that for these things, and I feel like I would be doing you guys this justice if I just slopped it up and didn't give you guys the full juice that I give. Good luck to everybody tonight. Hopefully you guys cash out. Again, like I said, if you guys looking for my player pool, core, all that good stuff, check the link down in the description below. $5 for the Patreon. I promise you, you'll make that back. Gonna go ahead and get these alt lines and stuff put up for you guys for the day. Peace.